he was a man that he wanted to live all his life without getting married and without having a child. You can imagine a man that didn't want to get married and they didn't want to have a child. Hello beautiful people and welcome back again to my YouTube channel. It's the Cleaners Family. If it's your first time here, you're welcome. Please do well to subscribe and like, share, comment, do all those good things, please. So as you do that, may God bless you. Amen. So let's dive right into today's story time. Today is a story time. Yeah, I love story time. Jehovah. Hey, this story time, this particular one will bubble you like it's going to. So I remember when I met my husband. Yes, when I first met my husband, and he was a man that he wanted to live all his life without getting married and without having a child. You can imagine a man that didn't want to get married and they didn't want to have a child. So when I met him, all those things changed. You understand? Everything changed. It was like it was a divine meeting. When the angel of God appeared to Mary, a lot of things happened. He brought Jesus and the Savior of the world. So when my husband met me, all those things changed. Everything, all the mentality of I don't want to get married changed. When my husband met me, he didn't want to marry and everything. But when I came, everything changed. All the I don't want to get married, whatever, changed. Yes. So after our marriage, like the first month after our marriage, my husband was still haven't come to terms that he's a married man. He was still battling. He was still trying to understand. Am I really married? Oh, okay. He was still trying to understand if he was really married. Then there was this thing my husband used to do then. It's TIM or too much information, yes. He used to do withdrawal method with me, yes. Hey, Jehovah. And now, as a woman that got married, I couldn't deal. So I was almost going crazy. I was like, okay, hold up. You don't want to? Hey, he said he's not ready yet, blah, blah, blah. Good. I say it's like you have come with, it's like you're not really a man. It's like you cannot impregnate a woman. Let me know now. He was like, no, that he's okay. Even if we want to go to the hospital now to attest to that, we can go. I'm like, yes, let's go. I want to go because most of these white men, you don't know what they have done in their country, and before you know it, people will not see that the fault is from them. They will not be blaming the woman and everything. And my sister, I wasn't ready for that. So I'm telling you, this thing was a month. Oh, I have married him. But don't do that, please. Don't do that. Don't take that risk. So we went. When we got to the hospital, no, before we went to the hospital, I convinced him. I said, "Oga, at least be doing it now. Be pouring. Let me know where my problem is coming from." Yes. So he reluctantly started doing it. He started, releasing inside me, pouring everything, blah blah blah, and the pregnancy was not coming. So I now said, "Oga, let's go to the hospital." Do you understand? But there was something miraculous that happened with my first child. We went to the hospital. The doctor checked my husband and checked me, took some, samples for lab and everything. Then he gave us he called us because he said that he was going to take some time. I don't know. He called us and said the result was ready, and we went. Then we opened it. We couldn't understand the lab or whatever. We told him, "Oga, please explain all these things in full term. Let us understand the layman's language that we can understand." So he said, "Okay, the thing there is your wife is okay, but the problem a little is from the husband because he has a low sperm count. Like he cannot pregnant a woman." And I'm like, hold up. He started dawning on me that after I have married this man and this is happening, how am I going to cope? So I asked the doctor, please, I want to know, is it so bad that it cannot happen or it can be rectified, it can be done? The doctor said, no, it's something that we can work on, like it can be rectified and he can still impregnate a woman. It's not like it's all terribly bad. So okay, let's start treatment. The doctor said he has to prescribe some drugs for us. We have to go to the pharmacy to buy. He has to start taking it, and everything will be fine and blah blah. He also gave me some drugs to help me boost my, my fetal whatever. There was this funny thing that happened though. Just keep listening. It's a story time, eh? I'm not going anywhere. Then there was this seminar I used to attend back then. It was all about this all this marketing, whatever. We used to go for the seminar, me and my sister then. So something happened. I was coming back. I was like, why go through the English way? Why buy English medicine when we can go through the herbal way? I can buy all these herbal drugs and we start drinking. Maybe we'll flush our system. And this was young me, because I married my husband at a very young age. So I had these people, these people that carried microphone and calling, this type of announcement for, sicknesses, diseases, infections, and everything. So I followed the voice of the megaphone, and I followed it. I saw where he parked the car, and I asked. They said his office is somewhere there. So I entered the man's office, and the man asked me what the problem was. I told him everything. And he was like, okay, he's going to give me some herbal drugs. When I drink, my husband should drink. He's going to purge us. He's going to cleanse our system and, enable me to take in. Then I bought the drugs. I go home. I told my husband, as a white man, he didn't understand. But one thing I love about my husband is, as long as it's something that will benefit the both of us, he's in. He will do it. So my husband started taking agbo. Oh, you man. The first time he took the agbo, my husband pushed from morning till night. He was shaking. Like, he said he was not going to take it during the days of work, like, so that he doesn't go and embarrass himself. So he took it on the weekend, so that even if he's purging, he can rush to the toilet and do whatever. So that was how he did it. He started drinking it. I started drinking it too. We started drinking it together. We are purging, because the man said it would cleanse our system. The miraculous thing about this story, just listen, listen. So after all the treatment, I went for my normal, meeting where they talked to us on the products. It was a marketing, they said, like I said, they talked to us on how to advertise the products and everything, blah, 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 blah. So one thing happened, because the man, when he was teaching, they used to write something on the chalkboard. Then the man started dividing. Like, the man started dividing. And what that man said is, no intercourse while we're drinking that agbo. No intercourse, because if my husband sleeps with me, he might most probably infect me. So we were avoiding until he said that until the medicine is finished, no meeting. Like, we shouldn't meet ourselves. Do you understand? So that was the man's instruction. I don't know. I asked him why. He said that so that he doesn't transfer whatever thing is moving from his body into my own body, and I have to be clean. Then after we finish our dose, then we can meet. Then the instructor that was teaching us on the product started, shaking, like moving together. I started looking, trying to find him. Like, I don't know what was happening to me. I was seeing double. My head was banging like somebody was hitting hammer on my head. Serious hammer. Boom, boom, boom. And I was holding my head like this. I bent down, because staying like this was like my head was going off my head. So I bent down. My friend that was next to me was like, what is happening? I said, I don't know. My head is banging. She said, do you have malaria? I said, I don't know if I have malaria. So immediately she told me she wanted to, because as tears started coming out of my eyes, and my head was banging, and I said, let me go to the back. Immediately I raised my leg to stand up to go to the back. So like the whole ground was high. And as I just moved my leg like this, the next thing was on the floor. I saw myself on the floor. Everybody carried me up. Like, people came to carry me up and help me to sit at the back. And I was like, my head. So immediately the girl went to call the head of our distance. The man came, called one lady. He said that he wouldn't understand until. So when the woman came, the man was like, please don't give her any drugs, please, because he wanted to give me from the drugs that they are marketing. The woman said, please don't give her any drugs. You are married? I said, yes, I'm married. He said, would you go and run a pregnancy test? At least let's know that this is not pregnancy before you can take any drugs. I'm like, pregnancy? I started calculating. When I started putting one or two together, I started calculating pregnancy. How? I'm drinking agbo to clean my system. Me and my husband, we have not met. How is this pregnancy coming? How is they say my husband have low sperm count? You know, I was just calculating. I said, I'm not pregnant. Just give me. He said, no, madam, please. Go and there's a pharmacy here. They run pregnancy tests. Just there's a lab there. Actually, I went to the lab. The funny thing is, the month before the month I did that test, that's, you know, when you want to run a test, I did pregnancy test last month. It was negative. So how are you coming to tell me that I should do pregnancy test this month, that I am taking agbo and I've not met my husband? I don't understand. Like, I was trying to understand. So I reluctantly went to do the test. When I went to do the test, it was taking a little time. I sat there, the head was still banging me. I was still like, the man said, calm down, you'll be fine, okay? You'll be fine. I said, thank you. The man came out with the result with a big positive. Like, it was big. You know, when the man, because he typed it was a big positive. I'm like, when he showed me the result, I opened it. My mind, I'm like, it's negative, but let me just open it. I opened it. Immediately I opened it, I first saw positive. I looked at the man. I said, Oga, are you sure this is my result? I said, what is your name? I said, Mrs. Chinwe Kuduna. I said, hey, what is there? I said, Mrs. Chinwe Kuduna. I said, that's the result. Hey, goddamn. You know, that kind of sarcastic laugh. That was why I laughed there. The man said, are you not a married woman? I said, I'm a married woman. Then why are you laughing? I didn't want to come and start telling the man what my eyes have seen. And my ears cannot. Immediately I carried my phone. I called my sister. I was shaking. The headache vanished. I started feeling hot, like heat, internal heat. You know, when you're not expecting something, internal heat. And I called my the man now said, for how long have you been married? I said, my marriage is not even up to, was it 3 months? He said, and I said, Doga, you will not understand. That's what I told the man. I said, you will not understand, because surely he will not understand. I called my sister. My sister said, hey, she started shouting. She said, calm down, wait. Hey, and you have been drinking agbo. Have you drinking agbo? Jesus, because my sister knows now. If you're drinking agbo, the blood, I cover your baby with the blood of Jesus. You know what that thing could have cost my baby? Maybe my baby would have come out with some, what's it called? This disorder, whatever. Just name it. It could damage his brain. It could damage. But what I don't know did not kill me. What I don't know did not come after me. Like, God is so merciful to me. Like, immediately, that means I was even pregnant when the doctor said that my husband had a low sperm count, because we calculated everything and I was already pregnant before doctor said my husband had a low sperm. And because I went home, I told my husband, you know, my husband is going to come and say his own side of the story anyway. I don't want to say that. Then we started calculating. We met the doctor. Like, that means you're pregnant before we went to even see the doctor. And all this, I think the drug, the agbo, manifested. Like, the child wanted me to stop. Mommy, stop, you are harming me. Stop drinking this thing. Stop, because you have not even gone halfway through with the medicine. So my child was like, Mommy, stop. You will kill me. I will go. You say you are drinking. It's too much. Stop. You're putting too much. Stop, you know. That was how I went inside the cupboard where I dropped all those agbo. I've not even gone halfway through. I'm like, immediately it dawned on me that God is a miracle God, I swear. So this story time is for me to encourage somebody out there that the doctor have said all sorts of things to. The doctor have told your husband low sperm count, this and that, because he's the God that does when everything. Even when I went to the same hospital to do my test, the doctor was like, how is this possible? Because with my calculation, I said, okay, that's your calculation. It's not God's calculation. That was it. You know, the man had to tell me, okay, go after 3 months, come back for your antenatal. We have to check and everything. After 3 months, that was how I started antenatal. In fact, this God. My husband that didn't want to get married, my husband that didn't want to have children, is a father of 3. So when God has not spoken in your life, you have no right to say anything about yourself. Yes, because he had his own plan. God had his own plan. So, and God's plans must come to surely pass. You understand? God's plan must happen. It's not your plan. It's God's plan that will manifest. So whatever plans you're making for yourself, in the next 20 years, I'm going to build a house. In the next 30 years, I'm going to build a mansion. If God has not said in the next 20 years you build a house, you will not, my sister. You will just be seeing yourself doing anything, doing anyhow. Until God has said, yes, my son, in the next 20 years, you build that house. And that's when you build the house. Do you understand? And that is why we have to be declaring good things for our life. So trust me, my brothers and sisters, that was how I became pregnant miraculously. How God gave me my first son, which will be he'll be clocking 7 very soon now. I'll have a 7-year-old son because my son clocked 1 on my 1-year anniversary. Like he was born on the 17th of May, and my wedding anniversary is 20th of May. So my son, I was carrying my son like this, and I was doing 1-year anniversary. And this was the same man that said, I don't want to have children. I don't want to marry. So God just rewrote his life. God just redirected his step, everything about my husband, because he keeps saying it that ever since he met me, he's like, it was God that sent me to him. Do you understand? So every divine connection from God hardly breaks, hardly have issue. And that's why my marriage is built on a solid rock. No matter what, it's not going to sink. It's not going to sink. It's not going to, because it's on Christ, the solid rock we stand. Do you understand? And coming here to talk about what happened after I married my husband is another story time, because I'm going to come here and say everything they said, all the negative things they said, but I blocked my ear and I married him. Yes. So I'm here to encourage you. Do what you know is okay, and before you do it, always put God first. Always pray. Always pray to God, and He's going to perfect everything that concerns you. Don't never believe the report of the doctor. Believe what God has said about you. Believe what God have His words on your life. Believe it. It might be something that will not happen immediately, because God is not, God, he takes his time, and when he blesses, his blessing is always marvelous. Like, people keep wondering, hey, how? That's how God works. He doesn't work like as it happen, as they do, He takes his time. You understand? Delay is not denial. It's surely going to happen to you. So I hope you enjoyed this, my story time. And until I see you all in my next video, remain blessed, stay blessed, and always be blessed. Bye. Oh, Jesus.